So we started a podcast, finally.
That's great. Now what?
This is According to Jama
and Nikki, a podcast by women who are living it, learning from it, and laughing through it. We talk business, community, relationships, and everything in between.
The wins, the lessons, and the moments that keep us connected. Because when we know better, we do better.
So here we are.
We made it.
Down
this far.
Riverbender building. Once again.
Full circle. We do, which we'll get into in our next episode. Or in all the subsequent episodes.
In the next episode. So,
chill.
Started a podcast.
Something we've been wanting to do for a decade?
Oh, probably longer, but yeah.
So our question to anyone who's listening is, what's something you've been wanting to do that's been on your heart, that you've been thinking about for forever? And finally, all the stars have aligned and it's happening. And that's kind of scary.
It's scary.
And exciting.
It's so easy to dream sometimes. Like you
love it.
Come up
every night.
Yeah. And think, oh, this would be so much fun. And this would be so exciting. And we should do this and we should do that. And then when you sit down to do it, like, where do you start?
Right.
I mean, we last 2 years ago, I think it's almost been 2 years that we started Bluff City Buddies.
Right.
So we started Bluff City Buddies.
Mm-hmm. As our LLC with an idea in mind of what we wanted to be and
no
do.
Plan or roadmap. It was just, we kind of want to do this and we
see where it goes.
A lot of it on the fly.
We did. And I think that's part of the fun and part of what keeps us interested is the challenge and what's next. And I know for me, like we were writing our bios and I was thinking, I was like, I love being an idea person. I love dreaming and coming up with ideas and checklists and plans. I don't so much love the execution of actually doing.
That's like where the work is, you know.
Right.
And the execution is hard sometimes when you don't know the first step.
Right. Taking that first leap and identifying what it is and where it's going to go to how long it's going to take and how much effort and when do you get to the second step? How do you know when you're done with the first step?
Right. And what direction are you going in? Because I think that's something that I know I am very challenged with because I am multifaceted. I get excited about a lot of things. I like finding new projects. So which direction do you go in? How do you know where to focus your time, where to focus your energy?
Right. Your resources, including money.
Yeah. And storage space. Something we're running out of.
Absolutely.
With all of the clothing. So let's tell them a little bit about Bluff City Buddies. Like, what was that? Because that's kind of, when we started Bluff City Buddies, the idea was coaching and marketing and customer service and
basically
the podcast and a blog.
Right. I mean, we have epic empire goals for sure. But to me, we kind of kept coming back to this fact that we know so many people who are passionate and driven and entrepreneurs.
Problem solvers.
Yes, that are starting businesses or wanting to start businesses. And maybe they're really skilled at one area of that business, or they're excited and ambitious about one area, but maybe not so much some other areas. And we wanted to support them. And how could we do that? How can we be a marketing piece for them? How can we help spread the good word or basically be a part of what they're trying to do and lift them up so that the struggle isn't so hard. Yeah.
And then as we started structuring and building, we realized, this is
hard.
It's challenging and we don't have all the answers even. So I think what makes our experience stronger is that we can relate. We know your challenges.
Absolutely.
We know what you're going through. And then I was excited about the relationship side, leadership side, building your team, communicating with your team, communicating with your customers. Love sales. I've been in sales for a very long time. And behind the counter, that great divide. What happens across that counter? How do you reach your customer? How do you give them a good experience? And also as the sales assistant, how do you have a good experience?
Right. You want to leave every interaction feeling good about it. And so does your customer. And as a customer, we know that other side of that experience. And I know we have talked too that I like to say, like, I don't sell anything. I never sell anything. I problem solve.
Yeah.
I listen.
Suggest.
Yes, exactly. Make them an informed consumer and try to figure out what's going to suit their needs. And maybe it's something I don't have to offer, but we talk often about how we're so interconnected, especially in this community, that we probably know somebody we can refer them to.
Yeah.
We can give them advice and a direction. And I think that's what so many of us are looking for in so many areas of our life.
And we are in a small community. And when you're in a small community, the Riverbend, we got to work together. We're seeing the same customers. We're seeing the same clients. We're using the same accountants. Right. We're sometimes looking for the best tech person or how do you build a website? Right. I mean, there's a lot of talented people, and if we all go to the same person, that person can't fit all of our needs. So there's even more talented people out there. And I think we have that, this person's more at this level with this budget, but I know a starter person who can really help you where you are until you grow into that level. Because we can't, we've started our business from $0.
Right. We can't all afford every service that's out there.
The best or the big, and we don't need that. I wouldn't go to US
Overkill.
Bank and try to buy a big point of sale system for our business.
Right.
That would be too much. What do we call that? Over engineering.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're paying for it and it's draining your funds. So I think being connected in the community and knowing where everyone's skills are helps us put people together. It's networking, but on a different level. It's not just what can you do for me. Right. It's what can we collectively do for each other in a community that is starving to grow.
Right.
Really on the cusp of what feels like
great things,
but then climbing slowly and the river rises and sinks back down. There is this, can't happen fast enough, but
But we also need to take our time.
Yeah.
Think about things. Try to do it right. And exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So then Bluff City Buddies went from that into clothing.
Somehow we became as part of our image consulting and helping people
feel good,
redefine themselves. Yeah, feel good about how they look and
we were
stepping out.
Coming out of COVID.
Yes.
Some of us were still working in the office. Some of us were working from home, and we didn't need our office clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us only needed clothes for 2 or 3 days to really just spruce it up and get out there. And all our bodies shifted in COVID. There are some that
some of us had a baby.
Some, yeah. Jama,
I mean, your body changes, for everybody.
That was a good 3 years.
For good and bad, and yeah.
And so we had friends who were like, I have way too many clothes.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do with them? I don't want to just, will you even get rid of them for us?
Right, right.
And sometimes I was I need to increase my wardrobe, but I don't really want to spend all the cash.
Right. And it's a great way to do that,
especially
to figure out who you want to be, and maybe you want to change the way you
colors.
Represent. Yeah.
How hard it is to buy something and you're spending $60 on a top and you're just not really sure about it.
I mean, we talked about that today coming in to record. I was like,
what do we wear?
Right, because you want to wear certain colors that look great on camera, but that you also feel confident and comfortable in, and that can be hard to do. And also temperature.
Yes. So it was a little warm in here, and I like to say I'm in my hot girl phase. So I'm burning up, and I had a black t-shirt on, and I'm like, I just don't want to wear all black, so I put this on. So you'll probably see me just sweating for the sake of having color in my wardrobe. And the fan was a little loud, so I had to put it in the hallway.
All the things we're learning, and we want to share that with you too, because it's an experience, and it's part of the journey is evolving, changing, adapting, figuring out what works for you and what works for our audience, and hopefully people enjoy it and we get to keep doing this.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Really fun to just have an opportunity to get to know each other. Speaking of getting to know each other, Jama.
You want to ask some questions?
Why don't I read A little bit about your bio.
Truth be told, I didn't finish it.
Oh, you didn't finish it. Well, of course we didn't.
We're busy. We are busy. We are women doing so many things.
Not finished. Like I still have thousands
work
of
in
years
progress.
to live.
Literally, we were gonna.
My story's still being written.
Yes,
is what it is. My story is still being written. I'm still being
lived,
changed. Growth, some digression, some growth again. So here's what we have so far. Jama is an idea woman.
We talked about this a little bit already.
Yeah, we did. Much more skilled at and excited about concepts and themes than execution. Yeah, we did. So you already did this.
I know. I jumped ahead. Sorry.
Wait, but you left out the quirky part.
I did.
And the
Nikki said that part about me.
The spread thin but fun.
I'm spread thin, but I'm still fun.
I wish I was spread thin, a little thinner. Just kidding. But
you want me to read yours?
I like that you find fulfillment in finishing what you start.
I do. I do have, as you've told me before. So back to that, like not always finishing everything, because that's part of whatever that personality that I have is. You get excited about something, like you were saying, you get going on it, and then you're like, okay, next. Like I'm over it. So
this is a little hiccup. I'm going to start this one.
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly. The tangents, the diversions, and but I do have a whole closet of unfinished craft projects.
It does, and it really helps your neurology, because that's always going to spin.
It does, and it's still in there. Like I want to finish things,
so you
but
can
it's
choose.
a struggle.
Like you can actually make choices.
Right.
You could go to those projects and go, do I still want to finish you? Like, is that something that I really want to do, or is it something I wanted to do then?
Right.
And I didn't.
Maybe that's not me anymore, and I don't.
Only that, I never did it. So did I really want to do it? So then you get to say, I think you're finished, and you can just pass it on. And then find the next project, and then finish it. I was really happy when I finished that diamond art.
I just found mine the other day.
The birthday.
I just found it, and I texted her, and I said, I just put this on my vision board, and I'm going to finish it.
It took me 3 years. 3 years to finish the diamond art poster.
I know something that we both personally struggle with is... Yes. Yes. And giving ourselves the space to say, it's okay to sit still. It's okay to focus my
on one thing
energy.
At one time.
Yes.
With diamond art, you can't multitask
no, you can't.
arting.
You can't.
Put the diamond on the wrong spot.
Which is okay too.
The diamond.
Which is okay to put it wherever you want. But
your chip.
Yes, you have to remain focused. And I personally love doing puzzles, but it's the same thing. It's being like, hey, it's okay to not be doing 5 other things while I'm doing this right now. And it's tough.
The other challenge I have is I will sit down to do something and I feel like I have to finish it in that moment.
Okay.
So, for instance, a diamond art thing, you can't really get. So what that was is we had gotten these beautiful gifts from our dear friend.
But they're
posters.
They're
poster sizes. And you take these bitty diamonds that are like, I'm sure...
The tiniest rhinestones you've ever seen.
Many of you out there listening have done this.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a great crafting project. Like if you...
It's meditative.
Coasters, which I thought was really cool.
Yes. So we did that at our women's self-care event last year. We did... we did magnets. I think I did magnets again this year because they're manageable. You know, yes. And you're
taking little bitty, and you stick it in this like waxy, sticky glue stuff, and you put it on the poster, and it's all by color. So it's paint by color, but it's diamond art stick by color.
Right.
And there's thousands of them in one color packet, or you get 3 or 4 color packets. So
wait, did you finish yours?
I finished mine.
I feel like we need to display it.
I should maybe bring it in.
Okay, then that's more motivation for me to actually.
And it felt, but
do you thrive on deadlines? Let me ask you that.
Oh, deadlines.
See, because I do. I need that, like, this needs to be completed by this date, because always in school I did this too, right? Like if something was due on this date, I may wait until the night before.
So that's where I struggle with deadlines.
But it's going to get done.
Yeah. At the cost of my sanity.
And sleep.
Because I do it in the last hour or the last day. So
But that gives me a, like...
If I don't have a deadline, it just sits on the...
It's on the carousel of incomplete things.
Say tomorrow doesn't really exist because tomorrow never happens, because by the time tomorrow happens, it's today. So there's never really a tomorrow. So you actually have to put it in time. You have to say, I'm going to finish this on Thursday by 12 o'clock.
Okay.
Noon.
Okay, I like that.
And your brain will go, okay, well, we got to do it on 12 o'clock at noon. And then you have to go, what do I have to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to have this completed by Thursday?
To prepare me for that. I like that.
That's great in theory, but it is a practice. I think some people are born with that practice. There are some people who live through time where they can see time like ever on a 15-minute clock, and they just know, and they can feel it. They know when 15 minutes has passed. And then there's some people,
and I'm like, time is a construct.
Like in time, and I might have always flipped those, but like in time where you're just in the moment and you have no idea that there's time after or before.
I
it's
definitely
just the moment is the same moment.
Yeah.
I have no concept of time passing. I don't even know how long we've been talking. This could have already been
days.
An hour. By now, I don't know. I didn't look at the clock to know.
And see, I love that. I thrive on that because I don't want to feel constrained
by time.
Yes. But then I'm late for everything.
That's where the hang up is. And I miss opportunities because when does the moment end, I think is the question. I'm the guest that doesn't know when to leave. Like, when do I get the hint that it's like, okay, you can go now? And I know I have friends out there who've been like, Nikki, it's 9 o'clock. I'm tired. Oh, right. Okay, I guess I'll go. And then I do the long Midwest goodbye. And, so deadlines are great.
Yeah.
Because they help
me.
But then if you're someone who can't manage the deadline, or you get in those end time moments.
And it does cause anxiety
and frustration.
Yes.
And irritability. Because you know you're supposed to be where you're supposed to be, but you're not where you're supposed to be.
But you're not there, you're not working on it, and that's very tricky.
So when you're starting a new project, a new endeavor, a new business, you have to figure out in a great way, you get to learn how to manage time.
Right. And we're working on that.
We're here. In the studio.
We did it. We're doing it.
On time. Which I love.
So, Nikki, I want to ask you.
Yes.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, so many things. My sister, she's got this, she said there was a song that's like, I want to be a ballerina truck driver. It's a kid song.
Right.
And she says that always reminds her of me because I kind of do want to be a ballerina truck driver. I have all these like skills. I think if I was thinking, I can't say what do I want to do when I grow up because I do a lot of things. I
just said, what do you want to be?
Right. And sometimes,
and to me, that is a different, yes.
Like, what do I want to be? I want to be a, saleswoman. I want to.
Right. Is it a title? Is it a right? And it doesn't even have to be career or job related. Do you want to just be independent?
Kind human person, right?
Absolutely. You want to be someone that people look up to and emulate, or
I think I know. I think when I grow up, because I'm still growing up,
always.
I think I want to be and grow into just this old lady with a bunch of stories.
You're doing great. Yes.
Yeah, just like
true. Embellished doesn't matter.
Storytelling, just like
doesn't matter.
Around,
yeah,
talking stories, just experience,
keeping your brain sharp.
Yeah, and just like even a lot of experiences, so that I can tell a lot of stories.
Absolutely.
I think that's fun.
A life well lived, and
good. And even if they're good or bad or hard, those are
it's your life, and we've talked about that. Like we are all a unique product of so many factors, and we can turn that into a negative or a positive or somewhere in between. And it's just so interesting. I'm so excited for us to be able to talk to each other for this time. We're planning to be on every Saturday from 10 to 11 minimum. It'll sometimes be just us, but most often we'll have a special guest.
Love to have VIPs.
Yes. So if you are someone who would like to be on with us, we have different themes that we're planning for the next couple of episodes and beyond.
And you get to ask yourself these questions.
Right.
What do you all want to be when you grow up?
Right. What is your dream project, and how can we start to get there?
Yeah.
But should we take a break?
Yeah, we can take a break.
I think Nikki needs a snack.
I did. I brought my nuts. They're pecans.
They look delicious.
Pecans or pecans?
Okay, this
or
is
pecans.
Pecans.
You guys think about how you pronounce the word pecan or pecan.
No,
pecan.
and it also depends if it's in a pie.
Oh, it's a pecan pie or a pecan pie.
Right. Versus outside of a pie. It makes a difference.
Think about that, and then we'll meet you back here after our snack.
Firearms training shouldn't feel intimidating. At Precision Point Armory in Bethalto, we focus on safety, confidence, and real-world skills. Whether you're new or renewing your concealed carry, you'll get professional instruction without pressure. Learn safe handling, sound decision-making, and proper techniques tailored to your experience level. If you're looking for premium firearms training in the heart of Bethalto, Illinois, call 618-779-9947 or go to precisionpointarmory.net and train with confidence today.
Struggling with depression that just won't go away? At Precision TMS, we offer a non-invasive, drug-free treatment designed to target the areas of the brain linked to mood regulation. Using FDA-cleared transcranial magnetic stimulation, gentle magnetic pulses help reactivate underperforming brain circuits without surgery or sedation. Many patients experience real relief, even after other treatments haven't worked. Our experienced team provides personalized care every step of the way. Contact Precision TMS today to see if TMS therapy is right for you.
Accidents happen in a heartbeat, but lives change forever. Whether it's a car crash, workplace injury, medical malpractice, or wrongful death, you don't have to face the consequences alone. Keith Short and Associates brings over 33 years of experience and a reputation for fighting fiercely for your rights. For relentless representation that you can trust, call Keith Short and Associates at 618-254-0055 today for a free consultation.
What's up? It's Mike Keith. What's up, bro? What's good, my guy? Back to spotlight other amazing alumni and how they discovered their path at Lewis and Clark. Let's jump into it. This is Tom Wills,
an assistant chief of the Godfrey Fire District. He has been a firefighter and an EMT for over 20 years. Tom is currently an instructor in the Lewis and Clark Paramedicine program and has 2 degrees from LC, fire science and nursing.
I'm Tom Wills, and I'm a trailblazer.
Welcome back. This is According to Jama
and Nikki.
And we are on episode 1.
Yay!
And we're hoping that you'll get to know us a little bit by the end of this episode, if you don't already. We are what we like to call Riverbend famous.
Or like small town famous?
Yeah. You know, it's not a huge area, but and we'll get into this in the next episode because I have a unique name and Nikki does everything.
Wow.
Like you've probably seen us or heard our names or voices.
Who invited that girl? How'd she show up?
Yes, we have been known to be invited to a lot of events, including weddings that we weren't invited to.
We were like wedding crasher invite only crashers.
Like we literally bring the party. So I think that's a good thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Or we're the spectacle.
And we get there and turns out Nikki knows the DJ. It's in a different town, but we know people who are there. It's a
small world.
Small world. Exactly. So, do we want to ask a few more questions of each other?
Or can I
introduce you? Oh, you want to ask me?
You want to be when you grow up.
Okay. So, I mean, I answered a little bit. Just, you know, I'm in agreement that like, you know, you think about like what legacy do you want to leave and how do you want to be remembered and thought about? You know, like I always think about this question when someone doesn't know someone and you say like, how would you describe them? Or what do they, like how will I know them when I see them? And you know, you think about like how do you want somebody to talk good behind your back, right?
Yeah.
Right. Like Amy Poehler says, that's what I want people to do. Not the opposite, right? And as often as possible.
I mean, I think that's everybody. We naturally, we never want to be rejected. We all want to be accepted somewhere and appreciated and cared about and invited and thought of and talked good about.
And I know we both
and
have.
No one goes out trying to be not. Right?
Like so cool that I don't even need to be there. But I know we both have FOMO or whatever you want to call it. Like we want to be in all the places and doing all the things. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we want a seat at the table. Yes. We want to be involved in all the things and helping make decisions and make our communities better and improve ourselves and those around us. And I just think I've always struggled with like titles and how do you measure success and what does that look like as an
Success
individual?
is different for everyone.
Absolutely. And I know we have talked about like what motivates different people. Some motivated purely financially. Some are motivated by an award or recognition. Others simply by feeling like they accomplished something or helped someone that's maybe under that radar. And I think I fall into that. Like, I don't necessarily like being called out, but like, you want someone to say thank you. You know, you want some, like, even if it's just one person that knows that you went above and beyond, or you did something to try to help them. It can be just one person, and I'm okay with that for sure.
Yeah. I think that is sometimes when there's those expectations of effort. You know, we always show up with expectations, and I think over
even
time,
if we try not to.
Even if we try not to, like, sometimes I like to show up and not know what's going on, but I think that's also because I live in a world of where am I and what am I doing, and like
sometimes we like to be fully prepared for what you're getting into.
And sometimes just walk through a door and see what happens.
Exactly.
You know?
That's part of the thrill.
Yeah. So, what is your
and I guess our follow-up to that question was, what ways are you still chasing that feeling of like, what do you want to be
when you grow up?
Yeah, I feel like for me, it's that the unknown.
Yeah.
It's scary, like we said, but it's also exhilarating. You know, trying something new, jumping into something that you haven't done before, learning a new skill, meeting new people. That's life, right? Isn't that what it's all about? I know for me, it is.
Yeah. Well, and I think that there is also sometimes a thought of, I don't want to people. I just want to be like home, hidden in my little space that's safe and comfortable. And there's times where we do need that. I think there's definitely times where we need to pull ourselves out,
reset,
our alone time, recharge,
center.
Tune out the noise. But I think sometimes it's there. The one thing that I have learned is you cannot get through life without another human. Like, you cannot go to the bank and get, I mean, you can a little bit now with the digital world, but even still, there's someone on the other end processing things and making it happen. You're definitely not born without the help of a human. And then we get hired by people. We work with people. Another human buys our product. Like, the whole purpose of everything is us, each other. And so,
you know, you just made me think about the phrase, you're born alone and you die alone.
But you don't.
You can't. You're not born alone.
No, you're not born alone. You're born into a room, mostly.
And there's like a woman birthing you.
Yeah, like, you don't come in. But I think that that's the perspective, right? I think that's sometimes how we're supposed to feel. And I think that there's a purpose to that.
Right.
When you're by yourself and alone, you get vulnerable, you get scared, you get worrisome, you end up maybe buying into something that you shouldn't buy into out of fear of protection and safety, and then you get stuck in your head,
closed off,
and then depression happens, and you have no friends, and you have nobody, and then where are you?
Then you're alone.
Then you're alone. Then you're really, and then that's hard, and it is challenging to build yourself out of that feeling. So I think one thing I always try to remember is, on those days when I feel alone, I remind myself that I'm not.
Right.
You know, as much
I always think about the Beatles. I get by with a little help from my friends.
Yes, it's the whole bootstrap thing.
I get high with a little help from my friends. Interpret that however you want, but you know, like, they lift you up. They lift you up.
Seriously, that brought me back to, remember Dare? And we had the High on Life shirt.
Oh, yes.
I loved that. And on the back, it was like a list of all the things, like sitting by a fireplace, a walk on the beach.
Oh, I don't remember that part.
Well, I was in peer leadership.
Oh.
And so
from an early age, Nikki has been a leader of her peers.
It was so fun, though, because I remember going to this event. I don't even know where we were.
Wait, let me ask, who was your DARE officer?
was officer friendly.
Oh, that's right.
Also,
mine was David Goins. Yeah.
So I remember officer friendly, and
so we go way back. With Mayor Goins.
But it is interesting how everyone always says, like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But technically your bootstraps you step into and someone holds. So bootstraps you don't even get in by yourself.
Oh, interesting.
It's a two people thing.
Right.
So why are we putting that on ourselves? Like, I know we kind of like went into another direction of, okay, what do I want to be when I grow up? I want to be in community.
Right.
I want to be connected in the same room.
And even if you are an independent entrepreneur running your own business, you're not doing that alone. You know, you have customers, you have clients,
Supporters.
you have
like and share.
You have people you are outsourcing certain things to, your accountant and your banker and all these other people that it really does take a community.
It is easy to feel alone.
Mm-hmm. In a crowded room.
In a crowded room. It really is. However, if you can open up, talk to someone, reach out to someone, find that friend, that person, and then start going from there.
Right.
And I think if we focus more on how to be that person for other people, like that's part of the calling too, like of being a human on this planet. We're there for other people. We're there for our children. We're there for our spouses. We're there for our parents. How do we show up for them?
Right.
You know, how can we show up for our neighbor?
Being our best selves to help them be their best selves too, you know?
And I think
if they're struggling, especially.
Part of this podcast.
Right.
I think that was also one of the big things.
Our motivators.
Our motivator is how do we support this community and let them know, like, we're here in it with you. What do you want to be when you grow up? What's that project you're dreaming about? How are you getting it started? Do you not know the first step? Do you need help knowing the first step? We might not know the answer,
but we can help you find it.
Find someone who does know the answer. We are a community, and I feel like your success is also my success. You know
absolutely.
What I mean? Like,
yeah. It's not a competition.
It's not a competition because if a business is flourishing, the town is flourishing. You know, like the owner is flourishing, their family's flourishing.
As individuals and
the workers, the customers have access to things. I mean, we all know that there is grocery deserts and food deserts, and as we're starting seeing these things happen, the town is suffering, right?
The people.
You don't have access to things. So how do we flourish for each other? What does that look like? And when you're in the pit, it is hard to see. What do they say? It's hard to see the forest for the trees. When you're in the thick of it.
I haven't seen the pit yet. What?
What's the pit? But you know, when you're ever like down and you're just like, all these things are coming at me. That's too much.
Feels overwhelming.
There's pressure. There's stress. There's bills that need to be paid. You're like, Nikki, how do I breathe? Let alone be there for someone else. And that's a valid question. And I think it's like, okay, well, it's the oxygen mask theory, which I never lived by that first because I was not raised with that. If you know the oxygen mask theory.
If you've ever flown on an airplane.
But it really hit for me. If I don't put my oxygen mask on and I'm able to, then I can't put my mask on for the next person. Because in that second it takes to put a mask on, you pass out. So you've got to get yours on first so you can then assist others if you're able to. So for those of us who are getting the oxygen mask on, how do we show up for the people in our family? And for those of us who are struggling, how do I help you walk through that? And I think that those people out there who are in those professions, whether they're coaches or financial coaches, I think they're really there to help
nurses,
teachers, the rescuers. You have that heart.
EMTs.
That's why you're in those spaces.
Right. You're drawn to that for a reason. But you do still need to take care of yourself. For sure.
How do you do that?
Mentally, physically. It's very important.
And are you doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check in with yourself. Check in with your friends. I mean, you mentioned like this all kind of coming to fruition during COVID. That's something that like I know like people have looked at me like, oh my God, you have like 15 text threads and you have like all this nonstop communication happening. That is one thing I will say I think women in general are very good at.
communicating.
Yes, communicating and maintaining those lines of communication.
Really good at connecting out. I think that
and like you were saying, like if
you
someone
have a
needs
need,
something,
I'm pretty sure it was I don't know this for a fact, so it could be wrong, but the meal train, I feel like that was female designed. I could be wrong. Do you know what the meal train is? Where you go into the app and you can like organize a full-fledged meal train for someone in need, your church family, your friend, your community, and I could be wrong. Maybe. And
it's literally supplying meals for
and women
a person
have been doing
or
it for
family.
a very long time. People have been doing it for a very long time before it was not. But
it's
I think
like a phone tree. Like that's
phone trees. I feel like that even growing up in the churches, it was always like
a group of women that came
that were like
and cooked.
Tall and came. Yeah. Yes. So I mean, what does that look like? And we do talk more. And
I feel like that is to the benefit of our mental health for sure, because you feel like you have someone listening, someone giving you feedback and support. And that's so important, especially when you're going through something.
Yeah. And I guess there's all these studies coming out. And again, I don't have anything to cite, but I've heard that being with your girlfriends can actually help your body, like helps your mind, helps.
There is more research into this, and we can talk about that on a later episode too. Get an expert in here.
Many, exciting things.
So many ideas.
Yeah.
But one thing we need to definitely touch on is Nikki's bio, because she wrote this and you can tell. And I love it. I didn't read it yet though.
I don't even remember.
Nikki's classic style, comedic timing, and faulty grace is sure to be entertaining. She knows no stranger and has the ability to ease into conversations, getting to the heart of every story. Be prepared to laugh, then cry, then laugh again with Nikki.
It sounds like torture.
Was that
laugh and cry?
Yes, but you're gonna love it.
Yeah, it's gonna
Was
be
that
great.
from your modeling?
It is from our modeling days. For the longest time, I was a Barbizon teacher, and I say this as a was because Barbizon modeling.
But once a Barbizon teacher, always a
Once a Barbizon girl, always a Barbizon girl. But Monica, my director and
mentor, amazing woman,
everything. She retired and closed the school in 2025
in St. Louis.
Yeah, in St. Louis after 80 years of it being open. I mean, she was there not for all 80, 60 those years. She started as a model, and that was some good times. I loved teaching.
We learned so much about yourself
and the students,
industry.
And
I
you
shared
and all those fun things, the resumes.
You shared all your experience.
Yes, and so in that we talk about knowing our identity, knowing who we are, because we're branding ourselves as models and actors, and we're selling ourselves in some ways.
Aren't we all every day?
Also because you can find yourself, and we've all seen some of the things that have happened in the industry. Like the entertainment industry is
changed so much, but also not in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been murky, hypersexualized. So if you don't have a good understanding of who you are and your morality and your ethics and
boundaries and
the type of person you want to be, you can find yourself in places you shouldn't be, but you don't know you shouldn't be there. And so we find often, especially in their 20s, nudity starts coming up and these expressive photos, but now you have that imagery in your portfolio. And then you go to try it, and we all have these growth moments. So we worked really hard at helping students just find that inner self so that they know the lines.
So you can stay grounded too.
Because we tell our students, don't go anywhere by yourself. Always have someone with you. Right. If they don't let you bring a friend, a parent, a supporter,
you're not going there.
That's a red flag. Right. Like usually in those spaces, especially when a lot of our students were young, some of them were under the age of 18. We wanted to make sure that they knew what was okay, what was not okay. And so in that, I think I always tried to say, like, how would you describe yourself? How would you want someone to describe you?
Kind of like we talked about earlier,
Who are your favorite artists? So it starts by with naming 5 of your favorite things, favorite books, favorite things to do. Because a
favorite
lot of
people,
my students,
favorite places and things.
and a lot of us, I think, struggle with, like, what are we good at? What are our skills?
Yes.
We can always list about 5 to 10 things that we struggle with.
Right.
But finding the good things that we're good at, because we're so critical for ourselves.
Right.
We are very hard on ourselves. We're our number one critic, right? We probably have already known all the ways we could have improved before someone even gave us feedback.
Right.
And so I challenged my students to find their skill set. Because I think I don't remember who said it, because I hear things and then something else comes in and I forget who said what. But, it was
Charades, give me a clue.
Sweet Home Alabama.
Oh, okay.
Lead actress.
Reese Witherspoon.
Yes. She said, chase your skill set. And I felt like that was so important, because how many times do we chase a career?
Right.
But we find our places where our skill set is, like, all of our favorite parts about ourselves are being, like, buried. Right? So now all of a
Or
sudden,
you're like, my skills aren't being fully utilized. What am I doing in this?
And so she
role?
was talking and she's like, chase your skill set. So that's part of the bio. So, hey, out there, write your bio. What's your skill set? Get Gemini to help you, or ChatGPT.
Yeah.
That's really fun. Upload some of your favorite things and
talk to your friends and
ask
family
your
and
friends what they
coworkers.
think
Like,
you're good at.
well, yeah, what do you think I'm really good at? They might even be recognizing something you don't.
And I'm always surprised.
Always surprised every day.
Good at that? Oh, I didn't know I was good at that. So it can be it's a good feeling to have someone say, oh yeah, I always thought you were very talented in that way. Oh.
And it's amazing when someone sees you from the outside perspective that doesn't have all the voices of negativity in your own head. That can be really empowering and uplifting, which kind of leads us into our next area, which is, how do people make things happen?
That is a great question.
How do you go from a spark, an idea, to actual reality?
Well, you've heard creation theory, right?
Okay.
So there is this, so there is the creation theory that
one.
That one. But because of that one, we create. So we are designed to create, right?
Okay.
And so there are people out there that believe that maybe that's from a higher power, and then there's people that believe it's the universe. I lean towards the higher power, full disclosure. That's where my thought process is. So there is a creation. There is this, like, need to create. So there will be an idea. I almost think that idea comes to everyone because of the triune, right?
Okay.
And so
who's gonna do something with it?
The chair theory. So you can make a chair.
Okay.
We just need one chair. We just need one type of chair.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So why are there so many different types?
I'm sitting on one right now.
I know. There's
this one's a stool.
There are 2 types of chairs in this room, right?
Yeah.
So why?
Right.
For what purpose?
Exactly.
Because there's that desire to create. And if you talk to people or hear from people who write or think or dream all the time, there'll be times where they create it, and then there's times where they don't, and then when they try to go back to create it, it's gone. So it's kind of like if you're a writer, or if you make
artist
music,
or musician,
or you have this idea, or you have this sound in your head, or this flow, and if you don't put it on paper right then and there and let it grow and let it become, the next time you go, you get busy and you forget, and like a month later, you're like, what was that melody? How did that feel? And so someone else might have already grabbed it. So have you ever been like, oh, I thought of that. How are they just now doing it? Like, why is this out? This is what I've been talking about forever. Like, do you ever feel
it already
like that?
exists? Wait a minute.
Yeah. So
I remember one time, like 20 years ago, I was like, why isn't there a Queen musical? Like, this music is so epic. Like, there should be a Queen musical. So of course, then I'm like, okay, well, this is what the story should be, and this is how it should go. Oh, it turned out one already existed. But it was not good.
It was there.
It was there, but it was not good. I don't know who signed off on it. I think it was on off Broadway or not for long. I think there were definitely like roller skates involved.
Oh, I love that.
Something like that. But it was like, and I was like, oh no.
When things were disconnected.
Right. But you know what I mean? Where I was like, how come no one has thought of this before? Well, they had. And
evolved
into
something else.
Right. They should have hired us to fix it, clearly.
I mean.
But yeah, I know, I actually, like, I knew this musician who had written a song and, put it out probably on whatever we had back then, Napster or whatever. And it turned out there was another song that sounded like eerily similar to it that came out at the same time. So it wasn't that either of them had heard each other's song and like accidentally copied it or purposefully, you know how that happens. Vanilla Ice. But there was a dink in it. Yeah.
It was completely different.
Completely different.
Dink.
He ended up paying royalties. And we've seen him live. Terrible. It was really rough show.
No, he's no Snoop Dogg. He didn't reinvent himself like Snoop Dogg did. That's the thing. Like, again, we're talking about how do you make things happen.
Right.
To get off into the other weeds, you can live in the past and keep repeating, or you can continue to grow.
Right.
Like, how do you do that? How do you do that? And I think, Snoop is someone who's always out there doing something, project, adding something else. Ice. I mean, he did rehab some homes for a little bit.
Yes, he did. The concert was sponsored by HGTV or something like that.
I don't remember much, but
I will say for us in our evolution and process, we talked about this a lot.
We did.
About our business a lot. Yes, that's a big part of it. Even if it gets backburnered, sidelined because of...
You should see our Trello. We have so many boards.
So many boards and so many cards and so many ideas. And if you don't know what Trello is, it's a free service, not sponsored, but they should be. Check it out. It can be very helpful. It can be very helpful. We do. There are tools out there to help you for sure. And that's part of it too, right? Is like finding things to make your life easier, to get your ideas organized and get things like what's next in your timeline.
We finally said, I think it was you having Everett. And I was like, Jama, we are not getting it. At this point, we are not older.
Yes, right.
And I'm like, let's just do it. What do we have to lose?
Yes. We're so experienced and wise and
like we're not 20, so let's figure it out. Let's make it happen. So
and you're like, I'm going to file this paperwork. And I'm like, great, because I don't like paperwork.
I'm like, let's do it.
And that's part of it too, right? Is like you said, identifying your skill set and the things you actually want to be doing and want to be learning versus the things you don't, and outsource that stuff because to someone who is good at it. Yeah. I know.
And I don't know that I'm great at filing paperwork,
but it's done.
I definitely understand structure and business head things. And so I was like, okay, well, I mean, if you're going to be a business, you have to have a business license.
Right. And an EIN number and the state and federal recognition that you exist.
You've got to
and you got to pay taxes.
And I think there is that legitimacy.
Right.
And that weight to...
feeling like, oh, this is real.
And I've had 3 businesses. So if you add like Mary Kay Cosmetics, which I've been doing since 2011, and Barbizon, so the modeling side where you were... 1099, so I'm independent contractor there, an independent beauty consultant here, and then you have the pyrotechnics, which I did on the side, which was
Nikki is a Jill of all trades.
A Jill of all trades. Master at scheduling. Sometimes overscheduling, filling all of the moments.
Oh, that is one thing too, that we had a long list of excuses and other things to do, and the why nots,
Well, and then you have to check your priorities. Yeah. What's a priority? I mean, right now, there is a cool girls' night happening with some of our friends.
Literally at this moment.
On the other side of the river.
And we wish we could be there.
Totally.
But we knew this had to happen.
This is good.
We had to be here.
Yeah. So we're having a different girls' night. And
like you said, life is full of choices and sometimes you're going to have to make a hard one, and it's for a reason, because we want something. So we have to make the effort.
That's what it is. Effort. It's the challenge. It's the growth. It's, part of the reason why we didn't do it 5 to 10 years ago is because we kept filling our spaces with other things. And it's like, we got to fill our space with this.
We do. I did want to talk about, because this came up as we were kind of planning and putting together our ideas and notes, that 2026 is the year of the fire horse.
Oh,
remember that we talked about?
I've heard of the fire horse.
So in traditional Chinese culture, the fire horse symbolizes strength, speed, courage, loyalty, freedom, and talent. So then that got us thinking about like, oh, well, this is it. Like, this is the year that we have to make this happen. But also we decided to look up our birth years to find out like what, and there's all different beliefs and all different, cultures and traditions that that we could get into. And I'm sure that'll come up, our astrological signs at some point. But so Nikki's 1982.
Yes, 1982, everyone. I was born in the 1900s. For all of you out there.
Don't you love when you have to fill out a form and it's not where you can just type it in, but you have to scroll? And you're
Shout out to my grandma.
Thanks for making me feel old. Oh,
is 100 years old, born in 1925. Scroll that form.
Right.
She doesn't scroll forms anymore. She's like, I'm beyond that. I've lived.
She's our idol.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. 1982.
So you are a water dog.
A water dog. Okay. Which is great because I have a poodle who is also a water dog. Woof. Woof, woof.
Intuitive, charming, sociable, emotionally sensitive, with a dog's loyalty and water's empathy, adaptable, and a good communicator. On the downside, lacks discipline and needs lots of love and attention.
Or like
surprise.
I always want love.
So I am, the next year, 1983, I'm a water pig. I did used to love pigs when I was a kid.
Shout out to Rudy, my friend's pig.
Oh, I do also love bacon.
Sorry, Rudy.
Sorry. Delicious. But the water pig has sensitivity, social connection, good communication, so similarities here, nurturing with water's adaptability and intuition. Downside, self-centered, and we eat our feelings.
But I feel like I eat my feelings too.
Well, that's okay. Well, dogs like to eat as well.
Yes,
so,
Cosmos is starved, apparently.
Starved for
attention. He literally eats all the things. I have to tell him, like, stop eating everything off the ground.
Well, we do need to take another break, mainly for dancing.
Oh, it's a dance break?
Also for ads. Yes. Okay. And when we come back, we'll wrap a few things up and get you excited for next episode.
Dance break. What are you dancing to?
Ooh.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
At Alton Elite Jiu-Jitsu, we help students of all ages build confidence, discipline, and real-world strength. Join a supportive community that challenges you to grow both on and off the mat. Experience the art of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with a 7-day free trial at our new location. Call 618-795-2692 or visit altonelite.com to start your journey today. Train hard, serve others, live elite at Alton Elite Jiu-Jitsu. When you need a project done right, on budget, and on time, trust Gillahan Concrete. Gillahan handles every kind of project, big and small. Commercial, industrial, residential, from room additions and garages to patios, driveways, and more. Gillahan brings quality and experience to every job. Family owned with over 30 years of service to our community. Call today at 618-781-3914 or visit GillahanConcrete.com.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
Welcome back to the wrapping up of according to
Jama
and Nikki. We're here. We've talked about us starting this podcast, starting our business. We had this dream in our hearts. We talked about for 10 years. I think we talked about a lot of it on a long trip to Dallas, Texas once. So for those of us who are listening, I'm also listening.
Yes, we're all listening.
For those of us who are listening, you can tell we're getting slap happy. What are the action steps? Like, what are those next steps? How do you tend to make your dream happen?
Cultivate it.
What you got the ideas, now what?
Planting the seeds, sowing the crops. So we like to say that, like, some people say no time's like the present, but I know we talked about how time is different for everybody, but there's no better time than now. Like, there's never going to be the perfect time, the right time. It doesn't happen that I've ever experienced. So why not today? Why not now? What little step can you take to work towards something great in your life? Sometimes you need a friend. You need somebody else to light your fire for you and give you a kick.
That was our dance practice.
Surrounding yourself with amazing, uplifting people, supporters, people who, like when we would mention wanting to do a podcast to friends or random people, they'd be like, yeah.
Sounds great.
Awesome.
Go fun.
Literally, friends have been asking us to send them the link to this, and we're like, it's not made yet.
We're just
but
like,
thank you.
And I think the other thing is, do you really need validation for an idea? Like,
right.
And who are you getting validation from? And I think the question is, for what purpose do you need that validation? I think I do sometimes often. Sometimes often. I think I want someone to say, yeah, that's great, Nikki. Like, go for it. Like, that sounds fun. It'll be exciting for you. Because when you're facing something that seems uncharted territory, you want someone in your corner to say, go run, go get it, go hit that finish line. I think it is very easy to find people in your world to say,
to do the opposite.
Have you thought about this? Did you think about that? And then you're like,
we've even said, I feel like the people that we're closest to can sometimes be tough critics because they've known us so long, they know us so well,
and they know our strengths and our weaknesses.
Absolutely.
And they lovingly remind us, well, you're going to have to take time to do this. You're going to have to show up. You're going to have to schedule. So you can tell there's a theme with Jama and I. Well, when do you think you're going to do this with everything else you do?
Right.
We've heard those things.
Making the time.
What's great is that is so loving. Because you're right.
It's realistic.
But they want us to succeed.
Right. So if you look underneath that reality.
Look at it without the fact that, I just wanted you to
don't hurt my feelings.
Because
we want the cheerleader, but we also want the coach.
We also have the choice to get hurt by what they say.
True.
I mean, really, if we look at it like, oh, they're just being critical, they never like anything I do. Well, how do you know that?
Right.
How are you perceiving that message? When has there been a time where someone has said those words to you and you perceived it as if they didn't like what you were doing? Because we do that. We have those moments. Where has that shown up?
Overthinking.
Well, where has that shown up in your life? I mean, we have all these experiences and we have all these interactions with people. Which one interaction did you download as, when someone says this is what they always mean? I have had conversations with a dear friend of mine over and over again. He'll say something and I'll interpret it a certain way. And then that's not what he meant at all.
Right.
But because I'm interpreting it with only the lens of which I know, I think, when you said that, you must have meant this, because in my data language that I speak, this means that.
Right. Right. And it could be the complete opposite of the intention. And we're going to talk about that a lot on our show. How
communication and interpreting. We have all these messages coming at us all the time. And we filter it with our
own lens.
And we create the filters.
Yes, we do.
We create the filters from birth to 8th grade or 8 years old. Somewhere in that birth to 8 years old, we have decided what gets to stay in our filter and why. And our brain picks that for us to keep us safe.
Right.
sometimes we have to risk the unsafe in order to meet success. So if your level of success is starting a business, well, guess what? There's some fear in that.
Absolutely.
There's some anxiety in that. There's some moments in that where you feel unsafe. You're taking a risk and your brain goes, remember that last time we took a risk? Oh, it did not turn out well. I'm going to show you how it did not turn out well. And then your brain is going to remind you, I got to stay safe.
Right.
So you keep repeating these habits. You keep self-sabotaging, whatever word you want to put on it, but it's just your mind trying to protect you.
And you can build new habits. It does take time and effort.
You can also say yes and yes and I want this. So therefore I get to be uncomfortable. I get to be, the biggest phrase I learned in 2023, going through some of the training that I've gone through on neuro-linguistic programming and how our minds work, is get comfortable being uncomfortable. I mean, talk about uncomfortable. Wright brothers creating a plane. Their sister and them all got in this plane that they weren't even sure were going to fly, and they took off and flew it, and look what happened. I mean, that's just on the large scale, but what if you want a relationship with someone? And you want to maybe start dating, and you have a very interesting dating history, and you're just like, I don't know if I can open up and be vulnerable and trust, and someone comes along and you have to let down some of those fear factors so that you can grow in this relationship. And then you get to ask yourself, what about their behavior is causing me to think this or feel this or go this? Because you get to choose what you feel every day. You get to choose if you wake up in the morning and have a bad day or a good day. That choice is yours. I think the moment you realize that, and it's hard to realize that, because sometimes you're like, well, it's raining. I'm going to have a horrible day because my hair is going to go all frizzy, all crazy. Rain is just awful. Well,
but water is essential to life, and we need it. So
and my dry skin loves warm.
And if you look at a little kid that doesn't have those fears, anxieties, and preconceived lenses, they're out there barefoot jumping in puddles. They do not care.
No, and I loved it in modeling, just to go back since you brought it up about youth, fearlessness of the youth. In Barbizon, you would have ages. The best age that we would see would be maybe an 8-year-old.
Prepubescent?
Well, an 8 or 9-year-old, as long as they're comfortable without mom telling them what to say. You know, when they can go
have
on
some
the
independence
stage and they can say, because I would see some very fearless 8-year-olds that would just go up and speak a line and say a line, wasn't shy yet, because they grow out of that shy phase. So about 8 to...
Or they grow into it? Or grow out of it?
The shy phase.
Oh,
yeah, they do. Kids, I think kids do. When they're...
Right, but then I think you hit adolescence and you...
Teenagers.
Yes.
My 15, 16, 17, 18, and then adults, right? So there is a moment between...
And then you feel judged and...
8 years old.
Self-conscious.
And about 10 years old. Where those kids, so we would all audition together, and my 8-year-old and my 10-year-old, they would have to walk the runway, tell us a little bit about themselves, and then strut off.
Okay.
Rock it every time. I mean, blow it out of the water, throw some sass, say their things, say that what they
just
love.
Representing themselves.
Just nailing it to the T. And you could just see the spark and the excitement that they were there and they were going for it. And then you
This is me.
There's that change between, I think, 11, 12, 13, because,
so tough.
Because that's when the criticisms come in. That's when we start comparing ourselves. It's all part of that imprinting, and then we're modeling what we've been imprinted on from birth. And so there's the fear of being unliked. There's the fear of doing it wrong. There's the fear of seeming goofy. So
I had to look this up. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh, totally. Right. Comparison is the thief of joy. And so they would not rock it as much as the younger ones. And then you would think, okay, well, here's someone, 20s, 30s, adult. I'm sure they're just going to go out and they know, they're professional. No, they would still struggle through that, which is one reason why you need professional training. Because you get into this place the world beats up on you, or you beat up on yourself. And so you get to find that place where you want to go and the people who are doing it, and they can support you in it. And so what I loved about my classes and teaching is that those same students, by the end of it, would be brave.
Right. And you could see them.
They had to get uncomfortable.
Right.
And I would tell them, go big. Go big. We can always pull it back, but you got to go big. You got to go where you're going to go in order to know where you go, right? Like, you start small, you can only go small. So sometimes a character that you're developing,
like, you can always edit.
You can always edit down. You can always scale down. But really, for the camera,
except for this, we're live.
Yeah, right. But for the camera, there's some emotional work that has to happen.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Because you're going from a 2-dimension to a 3-dimension. So how do I am a 3-dimension thing but filmed in 2D? How do I express that? So either way, so cool. I think to your point, kids are fearless. And
it's so cool to see, too.
Yeah. And sometimes nerve-wracking. Don't touch that, don't jump on that, don't climb that, don't stick your
because we have the fear and we want to impose it on them.
Don't jump from that.
Right.
Like, why are you in the tree?
And almost all fear is learned, besides like basic survival. Yeah, exactly.
And so you fall and you get hurt. What do our parents tell us? You get back up, you try again, like riding the bike.
Have you ever seen like the little babies with snakes? Like
that
they
video.
put,
I thought that was AI.
No, it's like real scientific studies where the kids are not afraid.
They don't know.
Yeah, but the parents are over there like, oh God. So yeah, it's learned behavior. But if we surround ourselves, like you said, especially at an early age, with people who are helping coach us and mold us and build us into confident, amazing humans, especially those that are empathetic and caring and kind,
failure,
yes,
actually,
and like it's okay to fail. We need to fail.
Feedback.
Yes,
I mean it really is feedback.
Yes,
one of my favorite places, and I hope we talk about it in a show. It's the Museum of Failure.
Oh yes, you have that on our list, and I feel like that we need to go.
It's like
live.
Sweden. I think in Sweden. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Definitely need to go internationally and go travel the world. But is it failure or feedback? Because when you fall,
failing up,
learn,
they say,
fall forward, whatever that looks like, you get to learn from that.
Absolutely.
And it molds who you are, you know. So.
And that's kind of part of what we've been talking about today, but, having those people in your corner that have resources to help, that have, we all have connections. We're going to do a whole episode about this coming up, but I may not know, I don't know how to coach someone in those ways, but Nikki does. I know someone who does. You should talk to her. Having that community, that whole big spider web connection of people. Hey, I may not know somebody, but I know her and she knows somebody else that can help you with that.
And I know other people who coach in specific ways, too.
Absolutely.
So you've got health coaches and finance coaches and business coaches.
Yeah.
See, if you go back to freaking Roman times.
I was just thinking when you were talking earlier, Rome wasn't built in a day. There are going to be failures.
They were all talking with each other in these great think tanks, right? These they were coaching each other. They were reading each other's work. They were learning from each other. And I think we see that happening. I don't know how much of that is happening person to person anymore. So there's so much.
We've never been more connected, with the internet and social,
but and yet disconnected.
So yes,
and it's because, and this is something I absolutely love, especially as a talker,
professional talker.
92 or 90% of all communication is unspoken. So 90% of a communication interaction, or something about that percentage,
is nonverbal.
So if you're only talking to someone on the phone, you're not in the presence and you're not seeing their faces. You're not smelling them. Believe it or not, we have to smell each other in order for our bodies to, well, not only that, just to function. The flow, our bio. We actually, mechanics. The pheromones. Pheromones tell us when we're safe, not safe.
Sure.
We pick up on all these things
attractive.
We don't even realize.
Yeah.
And I think that that's so important, because if most communication is not even the words you're saying, how are you communicating?
Right.
what are you communicating?
Absolutely.
What are you missing when you're not in the presence of others? It's completely exciting to me. I'm like, oh, let's get in a group. And of course, as someone who loves being in a group of people, that's very fun for me. But if you're someone who can only handle like 1 or 2 people at a time, I get that.
That feels overwhelmed
Yeah.
or more introverted, or I know we've talked about too, like there are some of us who we get energized by others, and there are some people who feel the opposite. They get drained by the emotional, the social, all those expectations. And I think that's the thing, right? It's like you need to have all kinds.
Yeah.
You need to have.
And what if you're someone who does get drained by, but you have a retail job? How do you manage that?
Right.
How do you talk to someone every day and like, hi, and
All
then
day.
and then show up the way you want to show up at your retail job? And look,
And after.
we all want to be able to be in the perfect career. But sometimes we find ourselves in the stepping stone job, right? Like I sometimes always say the next job is the next job
one.
is the next one. Because we do get to build these skills.
To pay the bills.
Yeah, right? The skills to pay the bills. And so if you're not sure, you're uncomfortable, or you want to communicate more, you want people to have better interactions, that's what coaches are for.
Right.
Communication.
Find an expert.
Get into an improv class.
Oh.
Like, let's talk theater. You want to, theater, there's a lot of introspective people in theater. Believe it or not, a lot of theatrical people are your introverts.
Right.
And so it is interesting.
But there are so many ways you can take baby steps outside of your own bubble, your own box. You can find those people who know people who will help guide you. They'll take your hand, and again, you're not alone. And so we just want to know, what are you all going to take action on today? What is that itch that you need to scratch?
Scratchy show. So I wanted to call this like the Jama and Nikki show. We came up with a bunch of names.
So many. We'll get into it.
You want to start a business, but how do you name it? That's
right. That's the next episode.
And so, I always get jingles.
Everything's musical with us. Just wait. But we wanted to thank you all for sharing your time with us today. We know that we're all busy and we like being in your ears. So we believe that every story has the power to make us all feel a little less alone. And we're so glad that you're a part of ours. And if you found encouragement in today's episode, please share it with a kindred spirit. You can also very soon leave us reviews and feedback. We'll have our website up here hopefully soon when this episode airs. But for more stories and updates, we will be sharing on our socials. So we'll get all that information put in the show notes below, and you can like and follow us and stay with us. So until next time, keep staying connected.
Yeah. Thank you for being a part of our story, being connected in this community. And you've been listening to According to with
Jama